Driving the Speed Channel in-car camera. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand for Mike Galt. Starting in the 25th spot, driving the 0S out of Parkersburg, West Virginia, the Bland Towing Rocket Chassis, Monte Carlo. How about a big hand for Steve Shaver? Starting in the 25th position, out of Jacksonville, Florida, a Rocket Chassis, Eatman Engine, Ford Taurus out of Lucas Oil, Dunn Benson Ford. How about a big hand for Earl Pearson Jr.? Starting in the 24th position, driving car number 29 out of Dalton, Georgia, it's the Masterbuilt race car, Bob's Auto, Race Tech Engine, Ford Taurus machine. How about a big hand for number 29, Gary McPherson? In the 23rd slot, driving car number 15B out of Muscatine, Iowa, the Siebert Calf Ranches Masterbuilt Pro Power Monte Carlo. How about a big hand for Brian Burkhofer? In the 22nd spot, driving the 11S car out of Inman, South Carolina, the Northern Kentucky Auto Auction Masterbuilt Clemens Ford Taurus. How about a big hand for David Smith? Starting in the number 21st spot, out of Dresden, Ohio, the QPI Tools Dirt Ripper Special. It's a Rayburn chassis, Chevy Monte Carlo. How about a big hand for number 99, Donnie Moran? Little homespun flavor coming up next. Starting in the 20th position, out of Locust Grove, Georgia, driving the RSD Enterprises Rocket Custom Engine Special. How about a big hand for second generation driver, Shane Clanton? In the next row on the inside, out of Dallas, North Carolina, driving the Diecast Digest, Starrett Trucking, GRT, Gertie Racing Engine Monte Carlo. How about a big welcome for the number 70 car of Jeff Smith? Starting in the 18th spot, driving car number 1 out of Sugar Grove, Pennsylvania, the Corey Rubbers Rocket Chassis Drain Monte Carlo. How about a big hand for the defending shootout winner out of Sugar Grove, Pennsylvania, Chubb Frank? The next contestant driving the 00 car in the 17th position out of Holland, Illinois, the Maryland Continental Fuels Rayburn Race Tech Engine Machine of Randy Corday. Starting in the 16th spot, out of Martinsville, Indiana, the Petroff Towing Rayburn Pro Power Monte Carlo, driving the number 71 car, Don O'Neill, the real deal. In the 15th position, driving car number 7 out of Waterville, Ohio, the McCullough Motorsports Rocket Chassis, Russell Baker Pontiac Grand Prix, the 2003 Rookie of the Year. How about a big hand for Matt Miller? And on the outside of row number 7, out of Ball Ground, Georgia, the Millwood Plumbing JP Drilling Rocket Chassis, Dream Monte Carlo. Ladies and gentlemen, a former track champion, Bobby Turner. Starting in the 13th spot, number 53, out of Brasstown, North Carolina, the Youngblood Concrete Masterbuilt Coronet. How about a big hand for the Tar Heel Tiger, Ray Cook? Driving the number 28 car, he'll be starting in the 12th position out of Elk Mountain, Wisconsin, the Masterbuilt Pro Power Monte Carlo. How about a big hand? Number 28, Jimmy Mars. Starting in the 11th spot, Out of Rossville, Georgia, the Larry Shaw, J&J Steel, Rocket Chassis, Coots Power Plant, number 17M. How about a big hand for Dale McDowell? Starting in the 10th position out of Knoxville, Tennessee, the Calhoun's Restaurant, Warrior Chassis Custom Power Plant, driving the number 201 car. How about a big hand for Billy Ogle Jr.? Starting in the 9th position, out of Batesville, Arkansas, the J&J Steel GRT Chassis Ford Taurus. How about a big hand for number 88, Wendell Wallace? And on the outside of row number 4, out of Mooresburg, Tennessee, the Miller Brothers Co. Bloomquist Chassis Custom Power Plant. How about a big hand for the 0 car, the Scott Bloomquist? And on the inside of row number 4, out of Greytown, South Carolina, the Town and Country Packing, Barry Wright Chassis Clements Power Plant. How about a big hand for Chris Madden? Starting on the outside of row number 3, he's out of York, Pennsylvania, the Rocket Chassis Coronet Machine, the Rayvest Enterprises, the sponsor. How about a big hand for Rick Eckert? And on the inside of row number 3, out of Sonoma, Georgia, it's a GRT Chassis, Race Tech Monte Carlo, out of Sonoma, Georgia. How about a big hand for Cat Daddy himself, Clint Smith? In row number 2, coming up, out of Batesville, Arkansas, the J&J Steel Hawkeye Truck Sales Masterbuilt Dickens Engine, the number 21 car and a former winner of the shootout. A big hand for Billy Moyer. And on the inside of row number 2, out of Decatur, Illinois, the Car City Company Rayburn Chassis, number 18. How about a big warm welcome for Shannon Babb? And starting on the front row, out of Pewaukee, Wisconsin, the Miller Brothers Co. Hawkeye Trucking, Rayburn Chassis Pro Power Monte Carlo. How about a big hand for the Wisconsin Wallman, Dan Sleeper? And on the point, out of Ashland, Kentucky, it's a Rocket Chassis, Stanton Power Plant, and folks, it's a rebuild Dodge. How about a big hand for the Valvoline Mopar Performance Car of the Colonel, Steve Francis, out of Ashland, Kentucky. And there you have, ladies and gentlemen, the starting grid for the 14th annual Hardy Shootout presented by Coca-Cola here tonight.
You're in.
Gentlemen, let's get going for the 14th annual Hardy Shootout presented by Coca-Cola. We're ready to go. Hey, it's show and tell time here at Dixie Speedway with the H2 car. That is the car of Dwayne Hobble out of Tennessee as he is laying in the hospital at the University of Tennessee. Race fan, his car is pacing the field for the 14th annual Hardy Shootout presented by Coca-Cola. And for all you race fans, I'm telling you, it's Saturday night. It's the shootout. Make some noise! The pace truck now making its way over on the backside. The H2 car of the way. Come on, Dixie Speedway. It's your time to make some noise.
And to come down, the green flag goes down, Johnny. Three deep going in the corner.
It's the Wisconsin Wildman, Dan Sleeper on the point. Steve Francis, Shannon Badd, Billy Moyer, Rick Eckert, Cat Daddy on the bottom. Here comes Scott Bloomquist, Chris Madden, Jimmy Mars, everybody all right there together as they head down on the backside.
Stacking them up all the way around, 2 and 3 deep, Johnny. It's beautiful.
100 laps of pounding the ground racing action. Jeff Brink and Randy Cordy. A good battle going on down in the corner all the way around the racetrack. They're 2-3 wide. They got a lot of sparking and arcing go around this 3/8 of a mile Claybank racing oval. And up on the point, it is Dan Sleeper.
But back in the pack, Johnny, they're 3 deep, now trying to make it 4 deep off the number 2 corner.
Three wide, they come off Bobby Turner, Billy Ogle, and Don O'Neill. Chubb Brink right behind them as they head off turn number 2 and down on the back straightaway. And here comes Sleeper. Their Pro Power Miller Brothers coal machine.
3 deep, coming off of number 2, Johnny, anywhere you look. Way back in the pack. Sleeper setting a pace unbelievable.
Sleeper going to town as Steve Francis in the Mopar. Then come Moyer, then come Babb, then come Rick Eckert down on the backside. The second 5 consistent Cat Daddy, Cliff Smith. Then we go with Scott Bloomquist, Chris Madden, Jimmy Mars, and Dale McDowell out of Rossville, Georgia.
But way back in the pack, Johnny, they're still stacking them up 3 deep off of these corners. Going in and coming out of it. That Coco position board showing you front 5, 9, the 15, the 21, the 10, and 24.
And Jimmy, they are setting a torrid pace around this 3/8 of a mile Claybank racing oval as Sleeper going to the high side, down on the back straightaway. Moyer and Babb continue to battle on down in turn number 3 and 4.
Well, there's one thing for certain, Johnny. Anywhere you look, you've got racing. I mean, from the front of the pack all the way back.
And Dan Sleeper working on him down on the front straightaway in the Hawkeye Trucking Miller Brothers Coal sponsored racer. As he heads down the back straightaway, he gets around Gary McPherson. But you're looking at him, hey, Sleeper's setting a torrid pace, but Steve Francis in that Mopar going with it.
Steve Francis also lapping cars. Sleeper's picking up another lap as he moves down behind one, down through the number 3 and 4 turn. Now beginning with 13 laps completed, is already lapping cars. Professionals in, look at this. Stacking them up over that corner, 2 and 3 deep. Anywhere you look, Johnny, all the way around this racetrack, they are battling for position.
Scott Bloomquist pulling up alongside Rick Eckert down the back straightaway. He'll tuck in behind and head to the high side following Eckert as they get around some lap traffic of Mike Galt and Billy Ogle. Chris Smith going to follow right alongside, right behind them as they head off turn number 4, or turn number 2 and down on the back straightaway. And I'm telling you what, there's a lot of drivers down there got some good-looking, strong cars as we see smoke coming out of the number 201 car of Mike Galt.
All right, I still look at that front 5. They're still there, but Scott Bloomquist now beginning to move in on Rick Eckert as they come off of number 4 there.
Jimmy, would you believe it? They are still 3 wide all the way around the racetrack as caution flag now being displayed. And I don't... away. Jimmy is going to be a barn burner.
Well, the guy that leads them down through, the number 3, the 4 is at number 9.
And these cats are going to town 3 wide around this racetrack. Jeff Smith out of Dallas, North Carolina. The Gas Digest machine. The meat in the sandwich down in turn number 4.
Look at the way that number 9 Sleeper is moving around the speedway, but Prince is right there with him.
And I'll tell you what, you can't count out Billy Moyer out of Batesville, Arkansas. Something about them cars from Batesville, Arkansas. You can't count them out. Cat Daddy hanging on to the 7th position right behind Rick Eckert. Jimmy Mars and Dale McDowell right behind him. And then comes the real deal. Don O'Neill down on the front straightaway.
Scott Bloomquist has just moved into 4th position. It is showing him in 5th, so we'll hang on to that position. Yep, it's in 5th position. Rick Eckert had dropped back 1 position, but Clint Smith is on the move also.
And a little sparking and arcing down there in turn number 2 between some of the cars in the back of the pack. Hey, they're still going 3 wide around this racetrack. As your leader, Sleeper, brings them into turn 3 and 4. Followed by Steve Franson and the Babster, Shannon Babb, who those 3 cars have kind of pulled away as they head off turn number 2. And here comes Bloomquist. Something going wrong with Boyer's number 21 car as he falls way off the pace down on the backside.
Lost a number of position, but he fired it right up again and got moving. So Moyer on the move now, but he lost a number of positions there. Watch him as he dives down to the inside. Clint Smith now done under Rick Eckert as they go in the number 1 and 2 turn.
Clint Smith in the 7th position as he and Rick Eckert battling down in turn number 3 and number 4. Eckert in the Rayvest Enterprises high side. Clint Smith, Cat Daddy down low. .26 laps being shown on the board, and Randy Cordy in the 00 car pulling her in down in turn on the backside. So Randy Cordy looks to be calling it a night here at Dixie with a 14th annual Hardy Shootout.
Still too deep going up the back chute over there. Hey, buddy. Ray Cook now seemingly beginning to move also, but I see Clint Smith. Bloomquist has moved into 4th position with Eckert now in the number 5 running position, Johnny, according to our Coca-Cola position board. So anywhere you look around, anywhere on this racetrack you look at, you've got action. They're all battling for position.
Trying to pick up on your leader as he is getting ready to cross the start-finish line. Dan Sleeper in the Miller Brothers Gold Hawkeye trucking machine. Anywhere he wants to go, he's trying to grab hold of that $55,000 first place prize money. Everything kind of going his way right now, but how long is it going to last?
Well, we'll have to watch, wait and see, but anywhere, no race is over till the checker goes down. But there's one thing for certain. You got a battle between Moyer and Ray Cook as they go through the number 2 turn. So highlighting just a few of the action corners and straightaway. In fact, they're running wheel to wheel, Johnny. Right off the number 2 turn. But it's the same way. We could pick up any number 2 anywhere around this racetrack.
Bloomquist in the No weak links car on the high side down in turn number 3 and number 4. Looking real smooth and slowly but surely reeling in Shannon Babb and Steve Francis as they head down the backside. Something going wrong with Eckert.
I thought something was wrong when I saw the way he was running. With you some 35, 36 years ago, and what you've done for, and here they come off the corner. Green flag goes down.
Oh, here they go, and Steve Francis.
Go ahead, Johnny.
Go ahead. Steve Francis in the Mopar. He feeling the heat from Shannon Babb. Sleeper getting him a little bit of breathing room, but hey, that Mopar is stout.
That Shannon Babb stout also, isn't he? So I don't mind telling you, if Sleeper stays together, he's going to be hard to reach. But that, as you alluded, that Mopar is stout. Look at this, 3 and 4 deep off the corner.
And looks like Jeff Smith out of Dallas, North Carolina.
So another caution flag. Oh, he almost hit him. Man, he liked it.
The opportunity to meet with Roscoe this morning, and hey, we're getting ready to go to green.
What?
And the green flag going down, and a couple of kids might have been off the pace a little bit as Moyer comes back out onto the racetrack. And Shannon Babb looking real strong down in the corner, and Bloop was right up underneath him.
Knocking on his door, but look right behind them.
Don O'Neill, Jimmy Mars, Clint Smith, Wendell Wallace, Chuck Frank, Dale McDowell, Ray Cook, and Brian Burkhofer. That's the way they'll head off turn number 4, and Cat Daddy going down to the inside.
I want you to know that that guy, that number 9, is absolutely crying. I don't mind telling you. I wish they'd put a clock on him right now. And I noticed that Francis is running crossways completely off of that number 2 turn.
And we got one up on the high side. Mike Calls out of Gaffney, South Carolina, carrying the
hub to hub, you name it. Watch that Dodge on the inside. Steve Francis making a bid, and they all dive down there at the same time. Shannon Babb continuing to make that bid, Johnny.
Scott Bloomquist slowly but surely picking them off one at a time, moving up into the 3rd slot on our Coca-Cola scoreboard over in turn number 3. Don O'Neill right behind Bloomquist. Here comes Linda Wallace. Shannon Babb heading in the wrong direction as some of the cars getting around him as they come across the start-finish line. Clear Smith, Jimmy Mars playing a little tag down on the back straightaway. There goes Sleeper. Bloomquist stronger as horseradish on the restart.
Johnny, absolutely beautiful, even back in the pack. Look at the number 2 headed up the back chute. We got about 3 or 4 running wheel to wheel up that back chute, trying to get to the front. Here's one getting completely across as he goes off that number 2. Beautiful anywhere you look. Scott Bloomquist now making a bid. But that Dodge pulls him up the back chute. And here's Bloomquist again. Down on the inside. Bloomquist on the inside. Let's see if the Dodge can pull him up that chute.
Man, I tell you what, both drivers using their strength right now. Francis on the high side, Bloomquist down low. As the Dodge still got a little bit of an advantage, but hey, we are fast approaching the halfway point. We are about coming up on 2 laps away from the halfway point of the 14th annual shootout.
But Dan Sleeper, though, just out here cutting him a groove all of his own. But here goes Bloomquist back to the inside of Steve Francis off the number 2 Kona. Shannon Babb is now beginning, Don O'Neill rather, beginning to move up. Don O'Neill now knocking on their back door. And the next time around, the halfway mark for your leader going down on Dan Sleeper.
Steve Francis in that rocket chassis Stanton power plant Dodge going to town down on the backside. And I'm telling you what, that Dodge is stout.
Stout on the straightaways. Watch Scott Bloomquist go under going into that turn. But watch him pull him off the Kona. Pull him a couple of car lengths, really. So any way you look around, it's still action-packed. We've got to go
I'll tell
ahead.
you what, Dan Sleeper coming out to a commanding lead down on the back straightaway as the number 15 car, Steve Francis, Scott Bloomquist, Don O'Neill, and Wendell Wallace round out the top 5 on the Coca-Cola scoreboard over in turn number 3.
Sleeper just lapping a car in front of him, and we've got Scott Bloomquist, Steve Francis. Here's one against the wall.
And looks like Billy Moyer one more time.
Going to have to watch and wait and see if that's what they'll do. But here comes Sleeper again through that corner. What's that Dodge?
Dodge going down the bottom is Dan Sleeper. Up on top, Bloomquist right there with him as they head down the backside.
Yeah, hang on to it, buddy. It's going to get tougher all the way. Watch that Wendell Wallace. I told you, watch out for that guy. He goes to the high side. Wallace on the outside. Get your best hold and hang on. Wallace got a little bit high, but maybe that's what he wants. Watch that car come off the corner.
Wendell Wallace got him a horse sitting in front of him as they head off in the corner. Earl Pearson Jr. got problems down in the corner as Wendell Wallace. That mule will plow.
But
here comes Don O'Neill in the 71.
Yeah, hang in there. It ain't over. Hey, he is moving.
I'm telling you what, kind of leaving you speechless right now is the real deal, Don O'Neill. Threading the needle, he moves up into the 3rd slot. With Wendell Wallace falling back to 4th, Bloomquist in 5th as they head down the back straightaway. 58 laps coming up on 59 as they cross the start-finish line. Dan Sleeper out of Pewaukee, Wisconsin. He is the man that's putting it all together here tonight. 60 laps on the board. We're looking at 40 to go.
But the guy hanging on is this Steve Francis in a Dodge and a Mopar. Watch Don O'Neill now running 3rd. Wendell Wallace in the number 4 running position. Scott Bloomquist back in the number 5 slot as I see him right now. Man, I still say it ain't over till the checkered flag goes down. But
and I'm telling you, it ain't over yet. I don't care if he's got a 10-mile lead. Folks, let me tell you, there's so much can happen. And the rebuilt Dodge of Steve Francis going to work down there in the corner. Don O'Neill, Wendell Wallace and Scott Bloomquist, Shannon Babb, Jimmy Mars, Brian Burkhofer, Ray Cook.
Don O'Neill really putting the pressure on Steve Francis right now. Wendell Wallace holding his position. Scott Bloomquist. I'm still saying some might be playing the old cat game of trying to cool their tires a little bit, and then with a final 20 laps to go, they may try to move up then. Here we are, pair wired together as they come down the front chute. Same thing off the number 4. On the inside is Don O'Neill. What's that? Dodge on the outside. Oh, they're wide together, and there goes your second place car into the wall.
Steve Francis out of Ashland, Kentucky, finds himself up.
Happens. Man, it's hard to watch everything that goes on this speedway. But
and I'll tell you, I think Don O'Neill, Steve Francis having a few choice words with each other.
They're doing arcing and sparking, Johnny. You got to remember when they sort of rub sheet metal, that's arcing and sparking. But I bet they're as hot as a full-barrel motor scooter.
Somewhere in that area.
So now let's see. Man, let's kind of watch and see what happens from here. But I go now to the Coca-Cola position board that's showing. Right. So let's watch them now as they come off of that corner. They got, no. Wendell Wallace now comes to the inside. But Dan, oh, it's Wendell Wallace on the inside now, Johnny.
Hey, Wendell coming on strong in that 88 car. But it's still Dan Sleeper. As O'Neill and Wendell Wallace battling it out on the backside. Bloomquist regrouping, beginning now to move the machine on up on the ladder.
Anywhere you look. Scott Bloomquist now having more pressure put on him. Scott Bloomquist having pressure put on him as they come off of that corner, and it is number 28, Johnny.
That's Jimmy Mars.
Jimmy Mars and Scott Bloomquist running wheel to wheel off of that corner. But the guy that's showing them the short way with 70 laps now completed, Dan Sleeper.
Bloomquist, Jimmy Mars battling it out on the backside. That is for that number 5 spot as they head off turn number 4. Sleeper, Don O'Neill, Wendell Wallace, and Chuck Frank. That's your top 5, and Jimmy Mars looking real strong down in turn number 1 and number 2. Shannon Babb, Brian Burkhofer down the backside, and the Mopar pulling it in here tonight here at Dixie Speedway.
Here's a pair wired together. I mean wired. Scott Bloomquist on the outside. Gets into number 2. Let's see if he pulls him off the corner, and he does. Fighting for that number 5 running position. Still wide. What a race we are seeing here tonight. But the man is showing them all the short way, but it ain't over. Look at that number 71 now going after the number 9. So 71, as we see him moving up on our lead car, Sleeper. That guy goes up on the move. That is Don O'Neill. Don O'Neill going after Dan Sleeper. Sleeper still out front. I wonder if them tires are still holding up for him, Johnny. You know, as fast as he's been turning this track, now he's moving up to lap a car in front of him. With Don O'Neill right there with him as they go through the 1 and 2. Wendell Wallace in third. And he's got a car now putting pressure on him. The number 1. So Johnny is still in anybody's race. Look at this battle off the number 4 between Ray Cook. Ray Cook on the high side. And the next time down for number 9, Dan Sleeper, he will have completed 80 laps of 100. And he goes down right now, so 80 laps of 100 have been completed by the lead car, number 9. But Don O'Neill has got him in his sights and staying right down his exhaust as they go through the Jacksonville, Florida. And let's watch now as they move through the 3 and 4 turn. Coming down, Green goes down. Green is down on the inside. Look at this. Those two got together.
That allowed Dan Sleeper to give him a little bit of breathing room going down on the back straightaway. But, folks, I tell you what, the lead he had earlier, not as much as he did before.
But I tell you, he's now begun to move. His tires got cooler. I believe he's going to try to go the distance.
19 laps to go, and these cats are going full bore as Dan Sleeper in the number 9 car doing his thing down on the back straightaway. Don O'Neill, Jeff Frank, your defending shootout champion, in the 3rd slot, followed by Scott Blomqvist and then Jimmy Mars.
I'm wondering if Dan Sleeper let those tires get cool enough to really carry him the distance. He looks like he's running full bore right now. The other's going to have to pedal hard to reach him. And the next time around, everybody trying to gain 1 position or more if they possibly can. Battling hard. 15 more laps to go. 85 have now been completed. And this guy has proved to be, up to this point in time, proved to be a guy that's going to be hard to reach. Man, look at the way he gets off that corner. But it looks like Don O'Neill might be gaining just a little bit on him on each lap.
Well, I'll tell you what, the laps are dwindling down, and if you're going to go for it, partner, you better be saddling her up and let her go, because I'll tell you, the laps are dwindling down on this, the 14th annual Hardy Shootout presented by Coca-Cola.
Don O'Neill is moving in on Dan Sleeper. Watch the 71, watch the number 9, see the distance. Looked like Sleeper might have pulled him a little bit up to shoot that time. But if that car will hold together, Dan Sleeper's going to be hard to get around. Don O'Neill, though, doing everything possible. So, Johnny, we have still got a race that these, 90 laps have now been completed. 10 more to go, and look where Don O'Neill has moved up on Dan Sleeper. 10 more laps to go. Don O'Neill, though, moving right up there with him, every lap gaining a little bit. Really flying through these turns. Sleeper comes off the number 2 corner, pulls him a little bit up the back chute, but watch that Don O'Neill as he reels him in, realizing there's just a few laps to go. 71 running second. Goes in that corner in a hurry. Moves a little bit closer.
And Jimmy, there's lap traffic in front of him.
That might be a thing there. Don O'Neill just keeps coming in there, closer and closer. Don O'Neill now, right down behind Sleeper. Gets into that corner. Watch them up the back chute. As they come down this time. 5 laps to go. 5 to go. There goes Don O'Neill going to the inside. Johnny, pick it up, buddy.
I'll tell you what, Sleeper, if he had a rear view mirror, he could get a full view of Don O'Neill as they come off turn number 4. The thing about it, they've got lap traffic and O'Neill to the high side. Talk about a shootout. Here we go.
O'Neill on the outside. Sleeper comes right down under him. Gets behind that slower car.
I don't believe it.
It just
Don
happened.
O'Neill.
Sleeper going after him now. Don O'Neill out front. An Indiana driver is now out front. And it looked like there for a long time that Sleeper had it in the bag. He's still running second. 2 more, in fact, the white flag is going down. White flag is down. 1 more lap to go with Don O'Neill out front. Sleeper now trying to reach him as Don O'Neill moves in to the number 3 and 4 turn. And coming to the checkered flag, it is Don O'Neill out of Indiana. Then Dan Sleeper. And then
Chubb Frank, Scott Bloomquist, and Jimmy Mars. But Don O'Neill out of Martinsville, Indiana, and the Petroff Towing to Rayburn Chassis, Pro Power Monte Carlo, doing the do here at Dixie.
Out, and I don't mind telling you.
Yes.
So, well, I see Bloomquist got in the number 4. They got in the number 4 slot there.
With the cordless to victory lane.
And here's Johnny Clark now going down to victory lane. Johnny, you'll have to put another battery in there. Is it off? Yeah.
Got it.
So Johnny Clark will be going down to victory lane and to get with Don O'Neill. And then we'll try to get with the number 9, Dan Sleeper. We'll try also to get with the front 5 as...
The shootout, man, what a great weekend it's been.
Yeah, the track was really racy. It's a lot different than it was, nice job. It was a lot different than it was last year, but it was still racy. We started 18th and run 3rd. That's pretty good for us for here.
All right, hey, gonna make the trip back to Sugar Grove, Pennsylvania a lot easier.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, we getting ready. Don O'Neill out of Illinois. Getting a glad hand from track owner Mickey Swims here in Indiana. There you go. $55,000, Don. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you what, everybody getting her done down in the winner's circle at the 14th annual Hardy Shootout. Ladies and gentlemen, gonna get a word with the winner. How about a big hand, Don O'Neill? Don, congratulations to you. A great win. Man, you were saving it all right to the very end.
No, I wasn't saving nothing. We ran as hard as we could the whole race. We just, we're running second there. We moved around a little bit and found a little better line than Dan did out front there. And
tell us about the pass, man.
Well, we got to pressure him a little bit on the bottom, which he had to come down a little bit to keep me from going around on the bottom. And, then we come up in lap traffic there, and I just sort of rode him on the outside.
Man, a great win. I tell you what, how was the track for you?
Man, I never seen this racetrack like it has been this weekend. You could run anywhere on it.
Well, Don O'Neill, congratulations, a great win. How about a big hand, Don O'Neill, winner of the 14th annual Hardy Shootout.
And white flag is down. One more lap to go with Don O'Neill out front. Sleeper now trying to reach him as Don O'Neill moves in to the number 3 and 4 turn. And coming to the checkered flag, it is Don O'Neill out of Indiana.